The millionaire is shocked when he finds out the black beggar stayed virgin for 6 years. Emily Carter, who used to be Emily Harding, lived the high life in Manhattan. Diamonds, galas, the whole shebang. Engaged to Richard Harding III, the golden boy of Harding Construction. Then, bam. 6 years ago, everything blew up. Scandal, betrayal, the kind that makes headlines. She vanished, traded skyscrapers for a beat-up farmhouse way upstate. Now she's Doc Carter, patching up Bessie the cow and fluffy Persians at Carter's Critters. Peaceful, right? Wrong. Picture this: a gusty autumn afternoon. Leaves swirl like crazy. A sleek black town car, shinier than a new penny, pulls up to her clinic. Out steps Richard Harding. My jaw almost hit the floor. He looked different, humbled. His eyes, man, they were filled with something I hadn't seen before. Real regret. He's back. Wants a second chance. Can you believe it? We sat in the waiting room, surrounded by barking and meowing chaos. Awkward doesn't even begin to describe it. Then he drops a bomb. He's been watching her from afar, knows about her quiet life, her clinic, her dedication to the community. It gets weirder. He admits something huge. 6 years, 6 freaking years he's been carrying this around. He made a vow, a promise to himself, right after they broke up. He says he's been celibate, a black beggar in spirit, denying himself any pleasure as penance. Penance. I nearly choked on my own spit. A month of Sundays, he proposes. Dates every weekend. To prove he's changed. To prove he's worthy. Worthy? My head is spinning. Part of me still feels something for him. But trust? That's a whole other ballgame. I agree, tentatively, knowing this could either heal everything or shatter me completely. As he drives off, leaving me in a daze, I glance at the framed photo on my desk. Me and Richard, engagement day. Young, happy, clueless. But then, I see something I'd never noticed before. A shadowy figure lurking in the background. Someone watching us. Who is that? What role did they play in the whole mess 6 years ago? And what does Richard really want now? Ei, antes de continuarmos com essa história incrível, preciso te fazer um alerta importante. Muitos inscritos têm relatado que o YouTube removeu suas inscrições sem aviso. Dá só uma conferida rápida no botão vermelho aí embaixo para garantir que você ainda está inscrito no canal. Não quero que você perca nenhum conteúdo exclusivo que vem por aí. E já que você está aí, deixa aquele like poderoso que me ajuda muito com o algoritmo. Ah, e me conta nos comentários, de qual cidade você está assistindo? Adoro conhecer cada pessoa incrível que faz parte dessa comunidade. Sua participação faz toda a diferença. Vamos interagir. As he drives off, leaving me in a daze, I glance at the framed photo on my desk. Me and Richard, engagement day. Young, happy, clueless. But then, I see something I'd never noticed before. A shadowy figure lurking in the background. Someone watching us. Who is that? What role did they play in the whole mess 6 years ago? And what does Richard really want now? My phone buzzed. It's my best friend, Sarah. Girl, did Harding just leave your place? Spill. Everything. I needed to talk. Desperately. We met at Rosie's Diner, our usual spot. Burgers, fries, the works. I told her everything. From their town car to the celibacy confession. Sarah nearly choked on her milkshake. 6 years, Em? Seriously, what is this, a bad rom-com? I shrugged. I don't know what to think. It's a lot. That's when it happened. A news flash on the diner TV. Something about Harding Construction. We interrupt this program for a special report, the anchor said, her voice serious. Richard Harding III has been arrested this afternoon on charges of... I couldn't hear the rest. My ears were ringing. Richard, arrested? What the heck was going on? Sarah grabbed my arm. Em, look! The TV screen showed Richard, handcuffed, being led into a police car. His face, he looked defeated, broken. But then, something even crazier flashed across the screen. Harding Construction implicated in money laundering scheme. Money laundering? Richard? My head was spinning. I felt like I was going to be sick. The diner went silent. Everyone was staring at the TV. And then my phone rang. It was a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer, but something told me I had to. Hello? I said, my voice shaking. A woman's voice, cold and sharp, on the other end. Emily Carter? Or should I say Emily Harding? You have something that belongs to me. Who is this? What are you talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about. The Harding fortune. It's rightfully mine. And Richard, he was just a pawn. My blood ran cold. What? What are you talking about? Meet me, tomorrow, noon, at the old clock tower downtown. Come alone, or you'll regret it. The line went dead. I stared at my phone, my hand trembling. The shadowy figure in the photo, it all clicked. It wasn't just some random person. It was her, this woman. She was behind everything. The scandal, the betrayal, everything that had wrecked my life 6 years ago. And now, she was back. For the money? For revenge? I didn't know what was going on anymore. Just that I was being pulled into something far bigger, far more dangerous than I could have ever imagined. The black beggar, the confession, the arrest, it was all a smokescreen, a setup, and I was right in the middle of it. My phone buzzed. It's my best friend, Sarah. Girl, did Harding just leave your place? Spill everything. I needed to talk, desperately. We met at Rosie's Diner, our usual spot. Burgers, fries, the works. I told her everything, from the town car to the celibacy confession. Sarah nearly choked on her milkshake. 6 years, Em? Seriously? What is this, a bad rom-com? I shrugged. I don't know what to think. It's a lot. That's when it happened. A news flash on the diner TV. Something about Harding Construction. We interrupt this program for a special report. The anchor said, her voice serious. Richard Harding III has been arrested this afternoon on charges of... I couldn't hear the rest. My ears were ringing. Richard. Arrested? What the heck was going on? Sarah grabbed my arm. Em, look. The TV screen showed Richard, handcuffed, being led into a police car. His face, he looked defeated, broken. But then, something even crazier flashed across the screen. Harding Construction, implicated in money laundering scheme. Money laundering? Richard? My head was spinning. I felt like I was going to be sick. The diner went silent. Everyone was staring at the TV. And then my phone rang. It was a number I didn't recognize. I almost didn't answer. But something told me I had to. Hello? I said, my voice shaking. A woman's voice, cold and sharp, on the other end. Emily Carter, or should I say, Emily Harding, you have something that belongs to me. Who is this? What are you talking about? You know exactly what I'm talking about. The Harding fortune. It's rightfully mine. And Richard, he was just a pawn. My blood ran cold. What are you talking about? Meet me. Tomorrow, noon. At the old clock tower downtown. Come alone. Or you'll regret it. The line went dead. I stared at my phone, my hand trembling. The shadowy figure in the photo, it all clicked. It wasn't just some random person. It was her. This woman. She was behind everything. The scandal, the betrayal, everything that had wrecked my life 6 years ago. And now, she was back. For the money? For revenge? I didn't know what was going on anymore. Just that I was being pulled into something far bigger, far more dangerous than I could have ever imagined. The black beggar, the confession, the arrest. It was all a smokescreen, a setup, and I was right in the middle of it. Rosie's was a blur. I paid the bill, barely registering Sarah's worried questions. I needed to get home, to think, to figure out how deep this rabbit hole went. The farmhouse was freezing. I lit a fire, wrapped myself in a blanket, and tried to make sense of it all. Richard, celibate for 6 years? Money laundering? A mysterious woman threatening me? It was a circus, a nightmare. I opened the old photo album, flipped through pictures of a life that felt 1,000,000 years ago. Me and Richard, laughing carefree. My family, smiling at a summer barbecue. It felt like another lifetime. Then I saw it. A picture I'd completely forgotten about. My parents, younger, standing in front of a beach house. Behind them, blurry but unmistakable, was the clock tower, the same one the woman had told me to meet her at. Wait a minute. I grabbed the photo, stared at the background. Something was off. I squinted, held it up to the light. There, etched into the wood of the clock tower, almost invisible, were initials. M.H. My mother's initials. My heart pounded. My mother? What did she have to do with any of this? I rummaged through a box of old letters, searching for anything, any clue. And then I found it. A faded envelope, addressed to my mother in a handwriting I didn't recognize. The return address, a P.O. box in Switzerland. Switzerland? What was my mother doing with a P.O. box in Switzerland? I tore open the envelope. Inside, a single sheet of paper. A DNA test result. I scanned the document, my eyes blurring with disbelief. The names swam before me. Subject, Emily Harding. Alleged father, Richard Harding II. And then the result. Negative. Paternity excluded. My breath caught in my throat. Richard Harding II, Richard's father, wasn't my father. But that meant I flipped back to the picture of my parents, the clock tower looming in the background, the initials on the wood, M.H., my mother, and the woman on the phone claiming the Harding fortune was rightfully hers. It all clicked into place. The woman, she wasn't after the Harding fortune. She was after my fortune. Because she was my sister, my half-sister. My mother had had an affair with Richard Harding II. And this woman was the result. She thought I was the rightful heir to the Harding fortune. A fortune that was never mine in the first place. But if she wasn't a Harding, then who was my father? Suddenly, a car screeched to a halt outside. Headlights flooded the farmhouse. I froze, every muscle tense. Who was it? The woman? Richard? The police? The door burst open, and a figure stumbled inside. It was Sarah, her face pale, her eyes wide, with terror. "Emily, it's Richard. He escaped. He's here. He said," she gasped for air, "he said he needs to tell you the truth, the real truth." Then a voice boomed from behind her. "Get out of the way, Sarah. This doesn't concern you." Richard stepped into the light. His eyes were wild, desperate. He looked like a cornered animal. "Emily," he said, his voice hoarse, "I know who your father is." He paused, took a shaky breath. It's my father. The real scandal wasn't the money laundering. It's that my father was sleeping with your mother." He lunged towards me, his hand outstretched. "Emily, listen to me. I had nothing to do with the money laundering. They're framing me. But more importantly, you need to know that that woman on the phone, she's not just after the money. She's dangerous, Emily. She is after vengeance. But not just towards me, you. She is not your sister. She is—" Suddenly, a deafening gunshot shattered the silence. Richard crumpled, right in front of me, his eyes wide with disbelief. Then nothing, just gone. Sarah screamed, a high-pitched wail that cut through the night. I stood there, frozen. Richard, dead, in my farmhouse. Then the door slammed open again. A woman stepped in, sleek black coat, gun still smoking in her hand. Not my half-sister. Someone else. Someone familiar. "Hello, Emily," she said, a chilling smile spreading across her face. "Bet you didn't see this coming." It was Aunt Carol, my mom's sister, the one who always sent me birthday cards with too much glitter. Aunt Carol, holding a gun. "Aunt Carol? What? Why?" I stammered, my voice barely a whisper. "Oh, honey," she chuckled, a dry, brittle sound. "You really think I'd let you have all the fun? All the money? All the attention?" She raised the gun slightly, aiming it directly at me. Sarah was still huddled on the floor, sobbing. "See your mother? She always got everything. The good looks, the nice husband, the life I deserved. And you? You were just a reminder of everything I missed out on." My head was spinning. This couldn't be happening. Aunt Carol? A murderer? Richard knew too much, she continued, her eyes gleaming with madness. "He was getting close to figuring out the truth about your father, about me." "My father?" I asked, confused. "What about my father?" Aunt Carol laughed again, a long, drawn-out sound that made my skin crawl. "Oh, honey, Richard Harding II wasn't just sleeping with your mother. He was obsessed with her. But guess what? He wasn't the only one." She took a step closer, her eyes boring into mine. "Your father, Emily, your real father, he's standing right here." She dropped the gun. It clattered on the wooden floor. Then she reached up and slowly, deliberately, pulled off the wig she was wearing. My jaw dropped, my vision blurred. The room started to spin. Underneath the wig, under the expertly applied makeup, was a face I knew intimately. A face I had seen every single day of my life. A face I trusted more than anyone else in the world. It was Sarah. My best friend. The woman who had been by my side through everything. Sarah was my father. Surprise, she said. A manic grin plastered across her face. Surprise, she said. A manic grin plastered across her face. My head swam. Sarah? My best friend? My father? It was too much. Way too much. I stumbled backward, knocking over a stack of firewood. The smell of pine filled the air, but all I could taste was bile. Sarah. No, he took another step closer. He was taller now, somehow, more imposing. The gentle eyes I'd known for years were hard, almost cruel. Bet you're wondering how, he said, his voice deeper, rougher than I remembered. It's a long story, but the short version, your mom and I, we were close, really close, before Richard Harding even came into the picture. But he had the money, the power. He could give her a life I couldn't. He chuckled, a sound that sent shivers down my spine. So I did the only thing I could. I became her friend, her confidant. Watched you grow up from the sidelines. Always there, but never visible. My brain was struggling to catch up. All those years, all those secrets. The sleepovers, the gossip, the advice. It was all a lie, a carefully constructed performance. But why, Sarah? Why keep it a secret all these years? I managed to choke out. He shrugged. It was safer that way, for both of us. But then Richard came back, stirring up trouble, threatening to expose everything. And that Aunt Carol, she was always a loose cannon. I had to take care of them, protect you. He reached out, his hand hovering in the air. Come on, Emily. Let's get out of here. Start over. Just you and me. Like it should have been all along. I recoiled. This wasn't Sarah. This was some twisted version of him. A monster wearing my best friend's face. No, I said, my voice stronger now. I'm not going anywhere with you. His face darkened. Don't be like that, Emily. Don't make me do something I don't want to do. He took a step closer, and I knew I had to get out of there. I spun around, grabbed Sarah's dropped gun from the floor. It felt heavy, alien in my hand. He froze. A flicker of surprise crossed his face, quickly replaced by something colder, something darker. You wouldn't, he said, his voice a low growl. My hands trembled. I'd never held a gun in my life. But I couldn't let him get away with this. I couldn't let him control me anymore. Try me, I said, my voice shaking, but firm. He hesitated, his eyes locked on the gun. Then a slow smile spread across his face. Fine, he said, have it your way. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a small silver object. A button? A remote? Before I could react, he pressed it. Suddenly, the farmhouse shook. The ground beneath my feet trembled. A deafening roar filled the air. Then, everything went black. When I came to, I was lying on the floor, surrounded by debris. The farmhouse was gone, nothing but smoldering ruins. Sarah, he was gone too. I crawled out of the wreckage, coughing, gasping for air. The sky was dark, filled with smoke. Then I saw it. In the distance, a figure standing by the edge of the woods. Someone watching me. It was him, Sarah. But he wasn't alone. Standing next to him, bathed in the flickering light of the flames, was a woman, tall, elegant, with a cruel smile on her face. My mother. My mother. standing there, next to him. My best friend turned monster and my mother? It didn't make a lick of sense. She looked different, younger almost. The lines around her eyes were gone. Her hair was a vibrant red, nothing like the faded gray I remembered. And she was smiling, a genuine, happy smile like she hadn't worn in years. "Mom," I croaked, my voice hoarse. "What's going on? What is he to you?" She laughed, a light, airy sound that didn't fit the scene at all. "Oh, honey, you wouldn't understand. It's complicated." Complicated? My life had just exploded into a million pieces, and she was calling it complicated? Complicated like you're working with the man who just blew up my house and admitted to being my dad? I screamed, the words catching in my throat. She winced. "Don't be dramatic, Emily. Sarah, he is just helping me get what I deserve." "Deserve? What are you talking about? You had a good life. Dad loved you." Her smile vanished. Loved me? He tolerated me. He used me. He married me because it was convenient. Not because he loved me, but Richard. Her eyes softened, drifting towards the burning wreckage of the farmhouse. Richard Harding II. He loved me. He would have given me the world. And you got it all. You got him, the Harding fortune, everything I ever wanted. I stared at her, dumbfounded. My mother, the kind, gentle woman I'd known my whole life, was gone. Replaced by this stranger, consumed by bitterness and greed. But then I noticed something else. A glint of metal in Sarah's hand. A syringe. And my mother. Her eyes were glazed over. Her movements jerky and unnatural. "Mom, are you okay?" I asked, fear creeping into my voice. Sarah chuckled. "Oh, she's fine. Just a little boost. Helps her focus, you know." Focus? On what? Taking down her own daughter? Suddenly, my mother's eyes snapped into focus. She stared at me, a flicker of recognition in her gaze. "Emily," she whispered, her voice weak. "Run. Get away from him. He's not who you think he is." "What do you mean, Mom?" But before she could answer, Sarah plunged the syringe into her arm again. Her eyes glazed over once more, her body slumped against him. "Don't listen to her, Emily," he said, his voice smooth as silk. "She's just confused. Come with me. We can have everything we ever wanted." He reached out for me, and I knew, with a chilling certainty, that he wasn't just after the Harding fortune anymore. He was after me, my life, my very soul. But then, just as he reached for me, a new sound pierced the night air. A low, guttural growl. From the shadows of the woods, a figure emerged, large, black, and menacing. It was Bessie, my cow, but she wasn't alone. Behind her, a whole herd of cows emerged from the tree line, and they were all wearing tutus. Bessie in a tutu? Seriously? And a whole herd of them? It was insane. Hilarious, even, if the world wasn't burning down around me. But Sarah didn't laugh. He just glared at the cows, his eyes narrowed. My mother? She didn't seem to notice anything, just stood there, swaying slightly, a vacant smile on her face. Then Bessie did something that I will never forget. That sweet cow in a tutu charged at Sarah, aiming for his knees, and she lowered her head, a full-on rodeo bull. Sarah yelped, jumped back, But it was too late. Bessie clipped him. He stumbled, lost his balance, and fell right into the burning wreckage of the farmhouse. He screamed, a high-pitched, terrified scream that echoed through the night. My mother didn't react. She just kept smiling, humming a little tune. Then, from the inferno of the remains of the house, Sarah emerged, a totally different Sarah than I had ever seen. It was like he had become something else entirely. He was tall, but also his eyes glowed red. His body wasn't human anymore, but I understood in the way some kind of animal that came to our house. That wasn't Sarah anymore. It was my father, the demon that made a pact with my mother long ago. "You cannot escape," his new, old voice rumbled. Then the ground started shaking again, only now there was a sound. A new noise I had never heard before, the sound of 1,000,000 insects buzzing around me. The darkness around me started to move, the trees becoming more like shadows. That's when I saw it. My childhood home was never just a house, but a barrier to another world, to his world. That day, the barrier broke. The sound of 1,000,000 insects became deafening, and my body started to freeze. I was going to die. I knew it. It was over. Wasn't the deal? My mother snapped, like she had just come out of a dream. My demon father ignored her and took another step towards me. I don't know what happened next. All I know is that everything turned white, a blinding, all-consuming white light that swallowed everything. And then nothing, and then nothing, except there was something, a sound, faint at first, then louder. A heartbeat, my heartbeat, but different, stronger, slower. I opened my eyes, not the flickering flames, not the smoke-filled sky, just white. Everything was white. I sat up. Where was I? It wasn't the farmhouse. It wasn't the woods. It wasn't even Earth. I was floating in white space. No up, no down, no sides. Just me and something else. A figure. Shimmering, translucent. Familiar. "Mom," I whispered, my voice echoing in the emptiness. She smiled. Not the strained, manic smile from before. A real smile. Warm, loving. "Emily," she said, her voice soft as a breeze. "You're safe now." Safe? From what? What happened? Sarah? My dad? The farmhouse? She shook her head. "That's all over now. You're beyond that. You're changing." Changing? What did she mean? I looked down at myself. I wasn't wearing the tattered clothes I'd had on. I was glowing. A soft, ethereal light emanated from my skin. "What's happening to me?" I asked, fear creeping into my voice. "You're awakening, Emily. You're more than you think you are." "More than what? A vet? A daughter? A victim?" She chuckled. "You're a guardian, Emily. A protector. You have a power inside you, a power you've never known." A power? Me? I was just Emily Carter, girl who patched up cows and messed up my life. "I don't understand," I said, my head spinning. "You will," she said, "but there's something you need to know. Something about your father. Your real father." My heart pounded. Not Sarah. Not Richard Harding II. Then who? She reached out, her hand, hovering over my heart. He's not who you think he is, Emily. He's been watching you, protecting you, all your life. Who is he? I begged. She smiled, a sad, knowing smile. Look inside, Emily. You already know. I closed my eyes, focused on my heart, on the feeling, the connection, and then I saw it. A face, strong, kind, familiar. A face I had seen countless times, but never truly seen. My eyes snapped open. The vet, I gasped. Dr. Abernathy? The one who sold me to farm? Mom nodded. He's been waiting for you, Emily. Waiting for you to awaken. He's the one who sent you here, to this town, to me. But why? What is he? He's your father, Emily, and he's an angel. An angel? My dad? The kindly old vet who smelled of hay and antiseptic? An angel? Suddenly the white space shimmered, dissolved. I was back, not at the ruined farmhouse, but somewhere else entirely. A lush green meadow, bathed in sunlight. And there he was, Dr. Abernathy, standing beside a magnificent white horse, its wings shimmering in the sun. He smiled at me, a love, so pure, so overwhelming, it brought tears to my eyes. Welcome home, Emily, he said, his voice like the chime of bells. Home? What was going on? What had I gotten myself into? All I wanted was a quiet life. But as I looked into my father's eyes, I knew that quiet was never going to be an option again. And as I looked at the winged horse that was meant for me, I knew that my life would never be the same. Welcome home, Emily, he said, his voice like the chime of bells. Home? What was going on? What had I gotten myself into? All I wanted was a quiet life. But as I looked into my father's eyes, I knew that quiet was never going to be an option again. And as I looked at the winged horse that was meant for me, I knew that my life would never be the same. The winged horse, snow white, magnificent. It lowered its head, nudging me gently, like it knew me. He's been waiting for you, my dad, Dr. Abernathy. No, an angel, said, his eyes twinkling. Hop on, Emily. We have a lot to discuss. I hesitated. This was insane. Utterly, completely bonkers. But what choice did I have? My house was gone. My mom was who knows where. And Sarah? I didn't even want to think about Sarah. I took a deep breath and swung myself onto the horse's back. The wings shimmered, catching the sunlight. It felt right, natural, like I was finally where I was supposed to be. Dad? I still couldn't wrap my head around that. Smiled. Hold on tight, he said. This is going to be a bumpy ride. And then we were off, soaring into the sky, leaving the green meadow behind. Up, 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 past the clouds, past the stars. I couldn't breathe. My head was spinning. Where are we going? I yelled over the wind. He just smiled. To your real home, Emily, where you belong. We flew for what felt like forever. Then I saw it. A city. But not like any city I'd ever seen before. Made of gold, shimmering with light. Buildings that touched the sky. A million tiny lights twinkling like stars. Welcome to Elysium, Dad said, his voice full of pride. Home of the Guardians. He landed the horse gently in a courtyard paved with marble. Figures in flowing white robes surrounded us. Their faces were serene, beautiful. They looked angelic. "Emily," Dad said, turning to me, "these are your brothers and sisters. They've been waiting for you for a long time." My brothers and sisters? I didn't have any siblings. I was an only child. "What's going on?" I asked, panic rising in my chest. Dad took my hand. "Emily, you're not just a vet. You're not just a daughter. You're a guardian. You were born to protect the world from the darkness, like I do, like all your brothers and sisters do." He looked at me, his eyes pleading. "But there's something else you need to know." That's when a woman stepped forward. Tall, elegant, with piercing blue eyes. She looked regal. "Welcome, Emily," she said, her voice cool and commanding. "I am your aunt." Aunt? Another relative I never knew about? This was too much. "Who are you? What's going on?" I demanded, my voice shaking. She smiled, a cold, calculating smile. "I am your father's sister, Emily, and it's time you knew the truth." She paused, took a deep breath. "Your father, he's not an angel." "What? He's a fallen angel, a traitor. He betrayed us all." Dad gasped. "Don't listen to her, Emily. She's lying." "Am I?" Aunt said, turning to him, her eyes blazing. "Tell her the truth, brother. Tell her what you did." Dad looked down, shame etched on his face. "It's true, Emily," he whispered. I made a mistake. A long time ago, I fell in love with a human, my mother. And because of that love," Aunt continued, her voice dripping with venom, "he was banished from Elysium, stripped of his powers. He became a guardian of the earth, forced to watch over the humans he betrayed us for. But that wasn't the worst of it. And you, Emily," she said, turning back to me, "you are not a guardian. You are something else entirely. Something much more dangerous." She took a step closer, her eyes burning into mine. "You, Emily, are the daughter of a demon. A filha de demônio." Eu repeti, a voz tremendo. "Isso não pode ser verdade." Minha tia soltou uma gargalhada fria. "Oh, querida, é mais verdade do que você imagina. Seu pai fez um pacto com um demônio para te proteger, para te dar uma vida. Mas todo pacto tem um preço." "E qual é o preço?" Eu perguntei, o medo me paralisando. "Você," ela respondeu, o olhar fixo no meu. "Sua alma. Ele a quer de volta." Meu mundo desabou. Tudo o que eu achava que sabia, toda a minha vida, era uma mentira. Eu não era uma guardiã. Eu era um peão em uma guerra que não entendia. "Não acredite nela, Emily." Meu pai gritou, mas sua voz estava fraca, desesperada. Eu não sabia em quem acreditar. Meu coração estava dividido. Um lado queria acreditar no meu pai, no amor que sempre senti por ele. O outro lado estava aterrorizado com a verdade que minha tia revelou. "Já chega", eu disse, minha voz mais firme do que eu me sentia. "Eu preciso saber a verdade. Pai, me diga, você fez um pacto com um demônio?" Ele hesitou, o rosto contorcido de dor. "Sim", ele sussurrou. "Eu fiz." As lágrimas escorreram pelo meu rosto. "Por quê?" "Para te proteger", ele respondeu. "Eu nunca quis que você soubesse. Eu queria que você tivesse uma vida normal." "Uma vida normal?" eu gritei. "Minha vida é tudo menos normal." Minha tia sorriu. "Agora você entende, Emily. Você não pertence a este mundo. Você pertence ao inferno. Ela estendeu a mão e uma energia escura começou a emanar dela. Venha, Emily. Junte-se a nós. Abrace o seu destino. Eu olhei para meu pai, para a dor em seu rosto. Eu sabia o que tinha que fazer. Eu não vou com você, eu disse, minha voz cheia de determinação. Eu não vou deixar você me controlar. Eu fechei os olhos e me concentrei. Me concentrei no amor que sentia pelo meu pai, na esperança que ainda existia dentro de mim. E então, algo aconteceu. Uma luz brilhou dentro de mim, uma luz forte e poderosa. Era a energia dos guardiões, o poder que sempre esteve ali, adormecido. Eu abri os olhos, e a luz jorrou de mim, atingindo minha tia. Ela gritou, a energia escura se dissipando. Não! Ela gritou. Isso não é possível. Mas era possível. Eu era mais do que a filha de um demônio. Eu era algo mais. Eu era uma guardiã. E eu não ia deixar ninguém me tirar isso. Eu ergui as mãos e a luz se intensificou. Eu não pertenço a você, eu disse. Eu pertenço a mim mesma. A luz engolfou minha tia e ela desapareceu. Apenas o silêncio permaneceu. Eu olhei para meu pai, para o amor em seus olhos. Eu te amo, eu disse. Eu também te amo, Emily, ele respondeu. E eu estou tão orgulhoso de você. Ele sorriu. E então ele desapareceu. Eu estava sozinha, de novo. Mas dessa vez eu não estava com medo. Eu sabia quem eu era. Eu sabia o que tinha que fazer. Eu era uma guardiã. E eu estava pronta para proteger o mundo, mesmo que isso significasse lutar contra demônios. E não vai parar por aí, porque sinto que essa é mais uma porta, aberta. Você acredita mesmo que acabou? Se você sentiu esse final no fundo da alma, se cada revelação te deixou sem ar, então você precisa se inscrever agora. Não perca as próximas histórias que vão explodir sua mente. Esmague o botão de like agora. Mostre para o algoritmo que você é um verdadeiro fã e que quer mais. Inunde a seção de comentários com suas reações. O que você achou do final? Quem era o verdadeiro vilão? Suas teorias são importantes para nós. Não espere nem mais um segundo. Compartilhe este vídeo com pelo menos 5 amigos que precisam conhecer este desfecho. Só os verdadeiros fãs compartilham a experiência. Faça tudo isso agora. O futuro das nossas histórias depende de você.